Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. I'm James and you're watching Blue Dog Aquatics. Alright, today what we're doing is we're talking about what it takes to get a storefront. I know it was always a goal of mine to have my own store. Call it an exotic store, call it a fish and reptile store, but the city, they call it a pet store. Even though I don't sell dogs, cats, or anything like that, that's what they call it. But I wanted to help others along because I know along my journey with getting my storefront and the whole process, I had no idea who to ask or what questions to ask. And so what I'm going to do today is just do a quick video of what things you need to look for if your goal is also to own your own store. So we'll start with number one. Alright guys, number one is location. And for those of you who don't know, this is my pewter spider ball python. He is super sweet. For those of you coming to Aquatics, he will be there. So come check him out. He's just gorgeous. And now he's going to be super active for us. But anyway, number one is location. Because location, you hear the saying location is key. Well, location is key. Where I live, and it's going to vary depending on where you live, where you're from, what the state is, and all that. But here in Omaha, Nebraska, Douglas County is the county that owns Omaha, and they are very strict when it comes to exotic animals, especially when you're talking about chameleons or bearded dragons or monitors or snakes. They're like, no. But yet Sarpy County next to us, which is the beginning of Bellevue, they're like, whatever dude, go for it. You want a crocodile? Order it. Douglas County, you get caught with a crocodile and you're going to be in some serious trouble, and you're going to have to explain some things. Also, you'll probably get nailed with a fine, and oh, I'm sorry, baby. But location is key. Now, where I put my store is kind of on the border. The area I wanted to do my store at wasn't quite developed, and it was going to be easily 6 months. And I was like, nah, I just, I'll do a couple of years on 72nd and Harrison, and which also with the location, you want to make sure to look for a place that has high traffic, intersections that have tons and tons of traffic, because your building is going to be a focal point, and it's going to be something that you see as you're driving by. I mean, my truck is all wrapped up, and I can't tell you how many phone calls and emails I get just from that. So if you're on a busy intersection, people are going to more than likely swing in and go, well, what's this place? This is new. So yeah, definitely number one, make sure to choose a location that is right for you, right for your setup, right for your build out. If you're building a brand new structure, go for it. I mean, if that's what your needs are going to be for your storefront, then do it by all means. But next up, we're going to talk about number two is price and triple nets. When I first started looking at commercial space, and before we go too far, I did switch out snakes. This one right here is our, he's got a name a mile long, so forgive me. He's an inchy pinstripe bamboo mahogany ball python. He will also be at Aquatics, so make sure to swing by and come see him. He is such a gorgeous snake. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. But so back to price and triple nets. You got to find something that's in your budget. I'm not going to lie. When I first started looking at commercial spaces, I was trying to just grab whatever would be the quickest, and that will not work, because looking back at it now, had I looked at the or gotten the space that I had originally gone for, that was $3,800 a month. That's not counting utilities, that's not counting the triple nets, that's not counting any of that. And so you're talking an easy $4,200 to $4,400 a month. I mean, I don't know many people that have jobs right off the bat that can afford that much, but I was getting tunnel vision when I was looking at it, and I was just like, I need to have this. I don't care that it needs a ton of work, I need to have this. Well, as I got more focused in what I was doing and what I was looking, obviously, you know, we turned down that location, and we found the location on 72nd and Harrison, which, whatever your budget is, trust me, there are buildings out there and they are willing to negotiate too. My building on 72nd and Harrison was originally like right around $2,000 plus triple nets, and we actually knocked it down to right around $1,500 including the triple nets. Now, you may be asking, well, what are these triple nets you speak of? Now, when you see a commercial contract and it has the 3 ends, those are the triple nets. And what the triple nets are is, that is your that's how much you're paying per square foot for someone to come out and mow the outside grass for you, or clean the outside of the windows, or snow removal, all the little tedious things that are to make the outside of the store look pretty. That's what it is. It's also your yearly taxes for the property tax. That's also included in the triple nets. Now make sure to read the lease. Now I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyway, prices in triple nets. Make sure to find something that is going to fit your budget and that's going to fit right for you. That way you can end up with a long and happy time in your store, and you enjoy it just as much as I am. Alright guys, I know I said I was getting onto it, but we're going to take a minute here. Make sure to come and see us in Aquatics. We're only a week away. So we're heading down there Wednesday. So come by the booth, say hi, say, hey, I saw this video, and I'll give you 10% off. So yeah, think about that. Also, make sure to, if you're enjoying this channel, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll throw up this banner right now. Did it go through? These editing things are weird. But anyway, guys, make sure to follow us also on Facebook, Instagram. We have TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, and we also have our website too at www.bluedogaquatics.org. I'll also put the links for Facebook and Instagram right here. Now, drop a comment down below if you found out that this information really helped you. I'd really like to know. I'm trying to put out as much educational and helpful knowledge in my videos. So if this helps you out a lot, then make sure to let us know in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's jump to number 3. Alright guys, number 3 is the lease. Now before we go too far, this is our albino spider ball python. I know there's controversy on spiders, and trust me, you know, I don't like the fact that people kept breeding these guys to the point where they have issues. But that's why the spiders that I have right now are my last round of spiders. I'm not buying any more. The ones that I have, I'm selling as pets only, not breeders, because I don't want that line to continue. But he is just so pretty. But so let's jump back into that. The lease. Now, there's not much to say about the lease except for read it carefully. I had every lease that I was presented with every single building that I did. I had my accountant / lawyer take a look at it. Have someone who has knowledge on these leases, because trust me, when you read it for the first time, you're gonna be like, what did that say? I know I just spent the last hour reading all 14 pages of this lawyer jumbo, and it's worded very sneakily. Now, most places that you go with leases, they're gonna be just up front. It's just gonna be a basic lease saying this is what you owe, this is what the deposit is, these are the things that you need to know, these are the things you're responsible for. And those places are awesome because it makes it very simple. But if you do get a commercial space, this is one issue that I'm having right now, is they told me when I signed my lease that, oh, you know, 3 weeks we'll have you in the building. Awesome. I did not see that there wasn't a move-in date on the lease. Make sure that if you're having construction or anything like that, which again I'm getting ahead of myself, but make sure that there's a move-in date. That way it holds them accountable, because right now I'm just getting jerked around because they're not doing their job. They keep telling me, oh, it's going to be another 3 weeks. Oh, it's going to be another month. And, you know, this is losing me business and losing the ability to show the amazing animals that I have. So make sure to have someone look at that lease very carefully. And without further ado, let's jump to number 4. Alright guys, number 4 is construction. And before we go any further, let's introduce this guy. This is Paul the Bull. He is a spider. Just a pure spider. He has nothing else in him. But he's a good boy. He's a big boy. He's about 3 years old. And man, I wish you guys could feel how heavy he is. But yeah, he's just always inquisitive of what's going on. But back at it, number 4, guys. Construction. Construction is key, because depending on what type of commercial space you're going for, depends on what the parameters are when it comes to construction. Now, the first building I ever looked at in Omaha was on 144th and what was it, Industrial Road. And they're like, oh, just construction? Do it yourself. You want to rip out flooring? You want to rip out walls? The only thing we ask is that you get electrical and plumbing done by a licensed professional. I'm like, okay, solid. The storefront that I actually have now, nope, I'm not even allowed in the building, which is insane, because it's like, oh, we don't want you getting hurt. And so it costs me more money because, and that's the other thing too, on your lease agreement, which ties into this, if you have any construction on it, make sure that they're sharing the cost with you. You shouldn't be getting the full amount, because guess what? In 3 or 5 years, depending on what your contract is, you're moving out, and guess what? They just got, like, for example, my upgrades, $30,000, which moved me from a 3-year lease to a 5-year lease, which, I mean, was okay, but at the same time, I was like, okay, how much is that gonna change the monthly lease on it? And they're like, nope, it'll stay the same. And I'm like, all right, I can work with it. Always be willing to negotiate. They will negotiate with you, because there are so many empty buildings, and they want to put something in it, because if not, you know, they're not making any revenue off of that space. So be very specific when you're doing construction and what you are wanting for the space. Now for me, I wish I could show it to you guys, but for me, which I might be able to, no, I'll save that for another video. But for me, I was like, well, we just need to add in a couple more outlets, and then we need to remove a couple of half walls just to open it up more. And oh man, construction, they're like, oh, so the back door is only a single door right now. And I'm like, well, with pallets and all that, I really just want to do a double door. And they're like, they told me after the fact that it would be 10 to 12 weeks. And I'm like, seriously? Seriously? 10 to 12 weeks. Now, if you are setting up a storefront, it depends on your budget and your timeline. I mean, you could just wait for them for that 12 weeks for them to be done with it. But for me, I was like, I'm not waiting 12 weeks just to move in. So what I'm doing is while we're waiting on that door, I'm going in, setting everything up, and then getting the tanksel cycled. And what I'm doing is I'm putting a cloth drape or a drop cloth between the door that's going to have construction and where everybody else is, because trust me, you don't want that concrete dust working into your tanks. But all right guys, last but not least, Number 5 is, last but not least, is number 5, which is permits. Now before we go into permits, let's introduce, I'm sure you guys have seen the last video we did on giving him a bath, and then we also did a TikTok on him as well. This is Casper. Casper is a, oh man, I gotta find his bin right here. I swear I got bins everywhere. I don't know where my buddy put it, but anyway, in a sense, he is a Blue Eye Lucy. So he's such a sweet boy. But back into permits. Now, if you're opening a storefront, there's a couple things you need to know, because I wasted an entire day going between Lincoln, Nebraska, Omaha, between the federal, the state, the city, the county. I mean, it was just, oh, you just want to go bite someone. I mean, it's such a frustrating day just trying to get simple answers. And so I want to help you out with that, because I don't want you to go through the same stress that I did. And so we're going to talk about the federal level. Now, all federal level cares about is the game and wildlife. All they care about is if you have rodents, which here in Omaha, it is illegal to breed rodents, more particularly rats. And so they also will only get involved if you're dealing with like kangaroos or something that, like a zebra, I mean something that belongs in a zoo. But if you're opening a zoo, there are a whole other different type of regulations there. Now, jump from the federal to the state. Now there are things you need to know with the state. You do need, at least in Nebraska, I needed a state license from the Department of Agriculture, and get this, all it is for them to tell me they're going to come and inspect to ensure I don't have dogs, cats, or anything with fur that's alive anyway. And I'm like, hang on, I got to pay $180 a month, or $180 a year for this permit just for you to come and check to make sure I don't have these animals? Oh yeah, it was just such a pain. But you don't need any, as far as exotic reptiles, you don't need any permits as far as opening a store. But now let's jump down into city and county. Here in Omaha, they are very strict when it comes to exotic animals. And so obviously, you know, one of the things I had to pick up at the courthouse on the county level was I need to pick up a business license. Well, guess what? They won't even issue you a business license until your store's done, because they need to come in and ensure that your store is up to code, which they'll also introduce you to a the occupancy permit, which just says that you have the right to occupy that space and that it's being used appropriately. And then obviously you still need your permit to even have, or well, not necessarily have, but to sell animals like this. You have to have your what are you doing? You have to have your retail permit, which that is something you can pick up through the city. But yeah, it was so much back and forth, and they make it so difficult even Googling it online, you know, because you have to go through like 50 different pages just to find something that is somewhat legitimate. And then we're like, okay, you know, we want to know what animals are illegal in Omaha and what animals we can't have. And so we just wanted answers, which we found it out. I mean, there's different ones like iguanas, anything that is crocodilian, or reticulated pythons are illegal here in Omaha, but yet you go outside of Omaha and they don't care. They're like, okay, you want to get killed by your own snake? Okay. The only reason that law recently changed is because a dude got killed by his own red-tailed boa. I'm sorry. Were you snuggling with it? I don't know. But anyway, guys, those are the top 5 things that you need to know when you want to open up your own storefront. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Casper, say goodbye. Goodbye. Thanks for watching, and as always, the big question: your tank or mine?